Right, let's talk about the heavyweights. You were on the ground, Spence. You were watching the events unfold. What was the landscape like when you were seeing all this noise about Daniel disappearing into the ether, Martin Bakole being parachuted in?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was one of those situations where I'd arranged an interview on talkSPORT, actually coming on your show, wasn't he, Don Charles? We'd arranged that at the Mike Tyson Boxing Club. Everything was brilliant. That was meant to be on the Thursday of the press conference. Spoke to Don. He rang me on the Wednesday, said, look, Thursday, it's on. We're on, doing things. Daniel had done the open workout on the Wednesday night. He looked phenomenal. I'm just looking at him going, wow, this guy's going to be tough to beat. Joseph Parker equally looked brilliant, and he was mentally in a really good place as well. So you thought, we're in for a real fight here. And then we travelled to the press conference on the Thursday. Rumour breaks around 9:00 p.m. on the Thursday. Daniel's fallen ill. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that, because Don didn't turn up at the Mike Tyson gym. I just thought, look, don't want to hassle him because they, might be training or doing something. Left it there. Then Daniel had fallen ill. Then by the time the press conference was finished at 11 p.m. Saudi time, they're like, Martin Bakole's in, he's going on a plane. You just didn't see it all coming. And it was like, what's happened? So Daniel had apparently got a virus, wasn't deemed fit to fight, and he didn't want to put his IBF title at risk for that. And you understand it with, like, Joseph Parker's a serious challenger. So he's been pulled out of the fight. Credit to Turkey Al-Sheikh.
Was there any consideration, Spence, that just drop it from the card, move on?
No, I think
they had to find a replacement that was credible.
I think that they wanted a replacement that was credible, Simon, because this was billed as the best fight card ever. And you're looking at this fight, and it was because of the Floyd Schofield thing that happened with Shakur.
They had a double whammy.
Like, you go, and we got this new opponent in Josh Padley, who we can talk about as well. Incredible performance from him. But you go, we can't have this big heavyweight title fight.
What did you think, Adam? I personally thought the fight was a farce. I understand why it had to be made. I understand why people took it, and we'll explore that in a second. But the fight in and of itself, in terms of what we saw manifesting itself, and we saw Martin Bakole and we saw towels being thrown in at certain times, what did you make of that?
Yeah, listen, after the fact, it's a lot easier, obviously, to judge what we saw, isn't it? And I'm not going to go back on what I originally thought when everything was being made from Thursday into Friday. There was an awful lot of excitement around it. This is what we want, don't we? We want to be excited about the sport. I think the Warriors mentality of a man flying in from the Congo, taking a ridiculous amount of planes. Don't know why they didn't send him a private jet, but that being said, he comes in out of shape, granted. But that created an incredible amount of excitement.
And intrigue, yeah.
We got kind of what the majority of people in boxing kind of expected. An in-shape Joseph Parker, taking it very, very seriously, doing the business and getting the guy out of there in 2 rounds. Fine, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not going to go now and say, oh, he should never have taken it, this should never have happened, this is ridiculous. No, not at all. I was all in on the change, I was all in on the excitement of it, and now I think the Warriors mentality of Martin Bakole should be rewarded.
But when you pare it back, I mean, I understand all that, and I agree with it, because ultimately, if the decision has been made that you've got to keep a fight on the card, and you're looking around to who that's likely to be, and Bakole puts his name and hat in the ring.
Yeah.
But the fight in of itself was a bit of a farce, wasn't it, in terms of the fact he comes in at 308 pounds. He's got Daniel Dubois gloves on. He looks like he's cut his pyjamas down to get into it, right? And we're looking at a fight that goes nowhere and gets stopped in 4.5 minutes.
Okay.
And I don't think...
What's the alternative?
Well, I'm not saying there was an alternative, but what I am saying is that if we're going to be honest about it, pare back all the about the intrigue side of things and the excitement.
Yeah.
The reality of it is we got what we should have got, which is Joseph Parker, who's been training for arguably the best heavyweight in the world, or the most dangerous one, Daniel Dubois.
Yes.
Going against a guy that hasn't had a glove in his face since, or hasn't been hit in with real meaning since August of last year. That's probably 20, 30 pounds over his fighting weight, or certainly 20. That's not conditioned. That's got off a plane at 3 o'clock in the morning doing media commitments, goes into a ring and gets knocked out. So the fight in of itself was a bit of a farce for me. The reason why I took it, because there's been criticism flying around. Eddie Hearn has got involved in the conversation for reasons best known to himself, suggesting that that they shouldn't have been in the ring. And the argument rages about that. And the argument rages about whether Billy Nelson should have put him in there, whether Martin Bakole should have been in there, in terms of the motivations of the promoter. And I think that given the circumstances, if the fighter's being offered a lot of money, and he's being protected against downsides of being in that fight, most of them would have taken it.
100%. Listen, I think we're in a really interesting place now with that particular fight and how we react to it, not only as fans, but also as promoters and people connected to making the top stuff, right? We want fighters to take risks. For the last God knows how many years, how many times have we all sat in a room together and gone, this guy's talking the talk, but he's not walking the walk. We're not getting the fights that we want to fight. And it's mainly because promoters are protecting their assets. We're going to navigate it this way. We're going to navigate it that way. We'll get there when we're ready. We're building careers. We're losing attention spans of fight fans. We need to be mindful of that and cater for what the fan wants. The fan wants that excitement. When Thursday hit, Dubois out, everybody's gutted. Bakole's on a plane. What? Everybody's all in on that story. Yes, the fight's crap. I'm not going to make any bones about that. The fight is crap. But now what happens next for Bakole is really, really important. We need to put him back in a proper fight.
Well,
to show other fighters that if you take a risk, you're going to get rewarded. We want that attitude in this game. That's what we want. We don't want people to go, for all intents and purposes, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, whoever the promoter is, and then say, do you remember what happened to Martin Bakole? His career went backwards 2 years. We don't want that for you. We're not going to do that. We're going to wrap you in cotton wool here and we're going to go in this direction. No, take the risk. Do a Josh Padley. Get on the plane and let's rock and roll, man, and roll the dice.
Listen, I was with Billy Nelson at the airport because I wanted to ask him, the reasons behind taking this risk. You're IBF #1 mandatory. You've got this fight with a Jagba coming up out in May, out there for the final eliminator. Why would you take this? From the business side of things, he said, look, Spence, we went in there. We knew Martin was not in 100% condition. He'd been ticking over. He'd gone home to Congo. This was presented to us. And we had that fight presented to us with not just the money that we would have been getting for the Jagba fight, but money for a fight after. Life-changing money. This is like, he looks at it, he goes, we're going in there with confidence that we can win the fight on Martin's ability, even if he's not 100% fit. We've got that. And this is the most important thing from the business side of things, and you'd understand this, Simon. They had the security that this fight's still going to go ahead in May, and if Martin loses, the IBF final eliminator off the line, but he's getting the opportunity. We must remember, guys, Martin is the most avoided heavyweight out there, and me and Simon have been championing him on this show to get these opportunities. Yeah. Martin's got to take them when he comes.
I agree.
And you understand that, and he went in there with confidence. Yes, he wasn't in shape. He got caught on top of the head. Heavyweight boxing, got knocked out, but he's got the chance to come back, and I think that by doing that, Turkey's respected, you've saved this show because you're right, it kept that entertainment value where people were going, well, Bakole, doesn't matter what shape he's in, this guy is dangerous. And that is the reality.
The only thing I would say...
Send him a private jet, is what we should say.
True. The only thing I would say is that we have, in recent weeks, seen tragedies in boxing.
Yes.
And when you send a man into a heavyweight fight... that's got off a plane at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's jet lagged, into a fight like this, you put yourself in the way of a debate that could unfold on the boxing world that you don't particularly want. And that would be my only backstory. The idea that you've advanced, I think is absolutely right, because what was being mooted, it was irresponsible promoter and trainer to put this guy in the ring. The financial side of things, prize fighting is always a consideration. The backstop was, does he keep his position and does he still have the assurances? And I think the answer to those things is yes. So with that in mind, they made a commercial decision that was based upon an opportunity to get very well paid and also to protect their position and go forward on the back of that. And I think it probably makes sense, albeit against the element of safety. Listen, Oleksandr Usyk was ringside talking to talkSPORT. This is what he said about the Bakole fight.
Who are you going to fight next?
Mine?
You.
I think it's Dubois.
And it will be May?
I don't know. It's ideal for Agit, His Excellency, how the time, I don't know. I'm ready.
Are you ready to go back into camp again, yeah?
Yes, of course. I'm back Kiev. 2-3 weeks I was in Kiev. Then I go to my camp.
Well, he wasn't speaking about the Bakole fight. He was talking before the Bakole fight and talking about what he was going to do more logically. He talks about the Dubois fight. Should he be going in next against Dubois, or should we be seeing a different outcome given that the Dubois-Parker fight was put to the side because of the circumstances?
For me, we should be seeing a different outcome. Listen, who am I to argue with Oleksandr Usyk? He is the main man. And therefore, he's kind of the kingmaker. And if he wants to do something, I fully understand why he wants to do that. But even though he is the main man, I think that we are now living in a time, and I keep banging this word out, meritocracy. People have earned opportunities and they should be getting those opportunities. I think we're in a fortunate position. We all know that Oleksandr Usyk's the main guy. Daniel Dubois holds a belt as well as a championship belt in this heavyweight division. I think we've got two really good contenders that have earned their opportunity. Joseph Parker being one. Personally, I think you remake Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois. That's what we go and do.
Yeah.
The other contender, we saw him on Saturday night, Agit Kabayel.
Absolutely.
The guy's whacked out Makhmudov, Sanchez, and now Zhang. And you're telling me that he's not worthy of a world title?
Listen,
give him the Usyk fight. Let's see what's cracked with that.
I totally understand that, but I think the undisputed is going to trump all of that again with what happened.
We've done that. We've done that dance. We've done that dance.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, what happened with Daniel? Alexander's saying, "Oh, I'm looking for a dance partner." That's
what about Joseph Parker?
But Joseph Parker will be in a massive fight, and
Turkey Al Sheikh
and Kabayel is the fight that they will make next, and for the winner to fight.
But Joseph Parker was on the verge of fighting for the world title against Daniel Dubois.
He should have got
not
the
his
world title
fault.
shot.
He was ready to go.
It's the business of the sport, but I work.
But that's where we need to change. Let's get back to the meritocracy.
Absolutely right.
Again.
I mean, the meritocracy argument is that Joseph Parker, there was enough merit in the fight between Parker and Dubois in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So the merit was already there. It was well established. So the bottom line is that Parker's reward for being fit to fight and being prepared to fight a stand-in on the evening cannot be that he gets put into the long grass waiting for another opportunity.
Go and have another eliminator.
Go and have another eliminator. Yeah. And, you know, I look at it, and this probably can't work. I don't know why they can't rejig April 26 and stick Parker in against Dubois on April 26. It's a Riyadh card. And put him as the headline act, and Conor Ben and Christian Benn can fight underneath that.
Good shout.
Do you know, the conversation was when Daniel...
If they could turn that round, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Listen, the conversation was when Daniel had fallen ill, that the fight was going to happen, and he had 90 days to defend against Joseph Parker, and they were looking for a place to put it on. This has only arose, like this conversation about the undisputed has come up since Alexander's come over there saying...
But Turkey Al Sheikh can decide what the outcome's going to be if he wants to. And he strikes me that he wants to create the best environment for meritocracy and reward those that have shown a degree of loyalty and respect. And that would, to my mind, transcend or translate into Joseph Parker being rewarded for his achievements.
Usyk's in town because he's expecting Dubois Parker.
Yeah.
And the winner of Dubois Parker is absolutely valid to fight Oleksandr Usyk. Yeah. But it didn't materialise.
Absolutely right.
The landscape's changed now.
So it didn't materialise, and that's why Oleksandr Usyk said, well, he wanted the winner of that. He wanted that undisputed again.
Who's to say it wouldn't have been Parker?
Listen, no, I totally agree with that. A million% agree with that. But what I'm saying, because of the situation, the way it's unfolded, Alexander's calling for that shot.
But it can unfold.
The business of the sport.
It can unfold a different way too, if people that are controlling the purse strings decide that. So Oleksandr Usyk, with due respect, like everybody else, will have a price, and if that price is met by the people that are writing checks out, then they'll make a different decision. But I want to move on to Agit Kabayel because I like this subject matter because it validates my opinion. I said to you that Kabayel would beat...
Did you?
Yeah, I did. You know I did. I get it right, so very rarely I remember.
I'm going to let you have your moment, mate.
But I felt... I've never liked... I like Zhilei Zhang for the things that he does, but I've never felt that ultimately someone wasn't going to be able to do what Agit Kabayel did to him, and they did it. And I think that Kabayel should be given a lot of credit for what he's done in recent times because people talk about what's on his record, which is always on his record early doors.
He's a very young man as well.
As a younger man.
Yeah.
You know,
17.
The big Russian that everybody thought was going to do a number on him didn't. Frank Sanchez, that people criticise and praise in equal measure, but was highly ranked, was dealt with. And Zhang was dealt with.
Mate,
and I think Kabayel is good value for real opportunities in this division now.
Simon, and the way that he dealt with Zhang was by the way that we said, or I said definitely anyway, they'll go, don't do that. I said, look, Zhang's style, why I went for Zhang was I said, because Kabayel might get too greedy, sit in the pocket, go to the body like he did against Sanchez, and he'll get tagged with a counter.
And he did.
But he done exactly that.
And they got up.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. But
he got up like Joe Parker got up.
No, but
brilliant.
At the moment when he got tagged and went over, he'd already knocked a lot of the fight out of Zhang. Zhang just caught him with a big shot.
You're right.
Zhang had already...
It was a flash knockdown, wasn't it?
It was a flash knockdown, but Zhang had already sort of been beaten at that point. When Kabayel went down, Zhang was not in a good space.
No.
Because the way that he worked that body...
He didn't like it, did he? Completely out-bullied.
Yeah, but it was the way he was working that body.
Awesome.
It just, it sucked the life out of him.
He's game as well.
By round 3...
He'll stand in the fight.
Absolutely right.
By round 3, he was gassed. Done. Like, his arms were coming down.
Well, Kabayel did that to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did.
Body shots all the way. Incredible.
And
you've got to go...
Does he move into the camp, Kabayel, of the who needs him, who wants him camp now?
Yeah.
Does he?
Why would you want to fight him?
I think he's taken that off, obviously, Martin Bakole, but taking that off to another level. You look at him now and go, he's a problem for anyone.
Like I said to you before, we're in this meritocracy game now, boys. He's just had 3 knockouts. That's what we're here for, isn't it?
Right.
All against top lads. Put him in against one of the top boys.
Absolutely right. And the Riyadh season guys will like it because he delivers outcomes for them.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well done, Agit.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.